So when you have a union, you have addition, right? Union means addition. For multiplication rule, you must have intersection. And this is must be equal to PA into PB, where A and B are independent events. Where A and B are independent events. Now, what do you mean by independent events? Which do not depend on each other. For example, let us say if I define A as, say, passing an examination, right? And if I define B as heavy rain, are they dependent on each other? They are not dependent on each other. Because what is the relation between heavy rain and passing an exam? Right? Both can occur independendently, isn't it? If there is heavy rain, so what does it have to do with passing an exam? So therefore, these two events are called independent events. And the probability of an A intersection B is an event which we mean by A and B. Probability of occurrence of A and B. Okay. Remember this. With this definition, this is a very important definition. PA intersection B is equal to PA into PB for independent events. Let us see the third problem here. One card is drawn from a pack of 52 cards so that each card is equally likely to be selected. So at random from a pack of 52 cards, you are picking up one card. In each of the following cases, E1 and E2, there are two events defined. Let us say case 1. What is the event E1? Event E1 here, the card drawn is black. So what is the probability of this event? How many black cards in a pack? 26. Total number of cards?
20.
So PE1 is half. What is the event E2? The card is a king. What should be the probability of
4.
E2?
4
4.
by 52.
4 by 50, which is 1 by 13, right? So once we have got PE1 and PE2, the question here is check whether these two events are independent. So in order to check whether these two are independent, we need to check whether probability of E1 intersection E2 is equal to product of the individual probabilities. If we can show that PE1 intersection E2 is equal to P1 into PE1 into PE2, then we can say the events are independent. So we know PE1 and we know PE2. Now how to calculate how to calculate E1 into PE1 intersection E2? First we define the event. What is E1 intersection E2? Look at the events. The card is black. The card is a king. That means if both are to occur together, that means the card is a black king, isn't it?
Yes, sir. 2.
Card is a black king. So what should be the probability of a black king? How many black kings are there?
2.
2 out of 52. That is the probability.
2 by 52.
1 by
Yes,
26,
sir.
right? So now what is PE1 into PE2? Half into 1 by 13, which is equal to 1 by 26. So we see these two are equal.
Yes, sir.
Since PE1 intersection E2 is equal to PE1 into PE2, we say E1 and E2 are independent. Independent events. Right? That's finished. That's complete the first part. Let us see the second part of the question. This time the definition of E1 and E2 is different. Let's write. Let's write these first. The event E1 is the card drawn is a king or a queen. How many kings and queens? 8. Total 52.
8 by 52.
So this is 2 by 1 by 13, right? No, this is 2 by 26. Isn't it? Which is 1 by 13. Oh, this is 8 by 52. Sorry.
No, sir. No, sir.
This should be cancelled by 2 by
2 by 13.
13. This is 2 by 13. And the event E2 here is the card drawn is a queen or jack? How many queens? 4 queens. How many jacks? 4 jacks. That means 8 by 52. Again 2 by 13. Right? So again we need to check whether PE1 intersection E2 is equal to PE1 into PE2. So first we define what is E1 intersection E2. What is E1 intersection E2? If you see both the events, E1 is king or a queen or a jack. That means this the card drawn
4 by
is
52.
first define the event. The card drawn is a king, queen, or jack, right?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? So what should be the probability of PE1 intersection E2? How many kings? 4 kings. How many queens? 4. How many jacks? 4. That means 12 by 52. Right? So this comes to 3 by 13. Isn't it? Now multiply PE1 into E2 into PE2. For this case, PE1 here is how much we have calculated? 2 by 13 and 2 by 13. So 2 by 13 into 2 by 13, which is 4 by 169. Now check whether these two are equal. Yes, they are not equal. That means PE1 is not equal to PE1 intersection E2. Therefore, we say that these two events are not independent events. Clear?
Sir, for P1 intersection, PE1 intersection E2, what we are finding?
Repeat your question.
Number of queens, no?
Number of?
For PE1 intersection E2, what we are finding?
Queen, king, queen, or jack? Look at this. What is your event E1? The card is a king, queen, or a king or a queen. What is the event E2?
Yes,
The
sir.
card is a queen or a jack. And what does intersection mean? Intersection means and. So if I this event and this event, if you combine them, what will become? The card is a queen, king, queen, or a
Oh,
jack.
sorry, sir. Intersection it is.
Okay. Remember, intersection is and. Moving on to the next question. The question here is an unbiased die is tossed twice. Find the probability of getting a 4, 5, 6 on the first toss and a 1, 2, 3, or 4 on the second toss. Now see, there are two tossings, right? In this question, first tossing, second tossing. Now, does the first tossing depend on the second tossing? No. Right? Does the outcome of the first tossing depend on the outcome of the second tossing? No,
No, sir.
definitely not. So these two must be independent events, right? So we define the events first. Let us define the following events. Look at the question and define the events. What is the question here? The question here is find the probability of getting a 4, 5, a 6 on the first toss and see here and a 1, 2, 3, or 4 on the second toss. So let us define the following events. So what is the first event here? Getting a 4, 5, or 6 on the first toss, right? Getting a 4, 5, 6 on the first toss. The event B here is getting a 1, 2, 3, or 4 on the second toss. Isn't it? So therefore,
Yes,
what should be the probability of A? Before probability of A, let me see. Why did I define A and B in this manner? Because we know that A and B are independent events. So A intersection B, what will be the event here? Getting A 4, 5, 6 on the first toss and right, this and is for this intersection. Getting a 1, 2, 3, or 4 on the second
In the
toss.
second toss.
Okay, now we calculate the probabilities. So therefore, what is PA here? Probability of getting 4, 5, or 6 on the first toss. What is the probability?
3 by 6.
3 by 6, which is half.
Half.
What is the probability of B? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4 by
4 by 6, which is 2 by 3. So what is the probability, required probability? We need to calculate the probability of this event, right? A intersection B. Required
Yes, sir.
probability is equal to PA intersection B. And A and B are independent events, right? Because the first tossing does not depend on the second tossing. So that must be equal to product of the individual probabilities, which is equal to half into 2/3, which is equal to 1/3. And that's your answer. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Next question, number 5. The probability that Krishna will be alive 10 years hence. 10 years hence means after 10 years. And 7 by 15 is 7 by 15. And Hari will be alive is 7 by 10. That means after 10 years, what is the probability that they will be alive? 7 by 15 and 7 by 10. Question is find the probability that both Krishna and Hari will be dead. Okay. So this is what is given. Let us define the events. Let us define the following events. Let us define A as Krishna will be alive 10 years hence. And let us define the event B as Hari will be alive 10 years hence. Right? So what is the probability given here? The probability that Krishna will be alive is 7 by 15. And probability that Hari will be alive is 7 by 10. Now see the question. The question is find the probability that both Krishna and Hari will be dead. Now see the here E bar. What is the event E bar? Krishna will be dead 10 years hence, isn't it? Complementary event.
Yes, sir.
What is the event B bar? Hari will be dead. Ten years hence. Now what is the question? Find the probability that both Krishna and Hari will be dead 10 years hence. That means what is this event? Krishna will be dead 10 years hence and Hari will be dead 10 years hence, isn't it? So both Krishna and Hari will be dead 10 years hence. So we need to calculate the probability of this event, right? So therefore, P A bar intersection B bar. Now, if A and B are independent, A bar and B bar will also be independent. I have shown you in the notes earlier. That means this will be equal to P A bar into P B bar. If you don't know, just know that if A and B are independent, then A bar and B bar will be independent. So this is equal to 1 minus PA into 1 minus PB. Put the values. PA you know as 7 by 15. PB you know as 7 by 10. Multiply these two, you will get 4 by 25. That is the probability that both will be dead 10 years hence. Clear? Absolutely clear this question?
Yes, sir.
Next question. Now, what I must tell you here is
Yes, sir.
question number 6. A class consists of 80 students, 25 of them are girls, 55 boys. 10 of them are rich, 20 are fair complexioned. What is the probability of selecting a fair complexioned rich girl? Now see, this question contains 3 parts: fair complexioned, right, and rich, and a girl. 4 parts in fact, right? And see here, this class consists of 80 students, out of which 25 are girls, right? So if I define the events as let us define the following events. First event I define as selecting a girl. Second event I defined as selecting a boy. Third event I defined as selecting a fair complexion boy or girl. Okay, first we define rich. Selecting a rich boy or girl. And D is selecting a fair complexion. Boy or girl. Now, why did I define the event this way? See, because we know PA, right? Total number of students is 80. How many girls? 25. So probability of getting a girl is 25 by 80, which is 5 by 1 by 6, 5 by 16. What is the probability of selecting a boy? 55 boys. So 55 by 80, 11 by 16, isn't it? Probability of the event C, selecting a rich boy. How many rich? 10. So 1 by 8. And what about probability of selecting a fair complexion boy or girl? How many fair complexion? 20. Which is equal to 1/4, right? So all the events we have got. Now see, what is this? What is the probability of selecting a fair complexioned rich girl? Girl, okay, fair complexion and rich. That means what is A intersection C intersection D? Selecting a fair complexion, rich girl. Now tell me whether you have understood this or not. Yes, both of you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Check whether you have understood this. A intersection C intersection D.
Yes, sir.
Now see, all these events are independent, right? Selecting a girl, selecting a boy. You can select the girl independently. You can select a boy independently. You can select a rich boy or a girl independently, isn't it? So A, C, and D are independent. So therefore, what is the required probability? It is probability of A intersection C intersection D, which is equal to PA into PC into PD, because all these are independent. Put the values. PA 5 by 16, PC is 1 by 8, and PD is 1 by 4. Okay, so you multiply all this to get 5 by 512. Okay, so this is how we do this. Next problem, number 7. Read the question here. The question states a problem in mathematics is given to 3 students whose chances of solving it are half, 1/3, and 1/4, right? Now this is a type 1 problem. Okay, I forgot to mention. This is a type 1. Now in this part, actually there are 4 types of problems, right? The first type of problem is in which you will have to calculate the probability of at least one of the event. This is the keyword. In all the problems, you will find this keyword, at least one. Okay. So this is the first type. Let's see. The problem in mathematics is given to 3 students whose chances of solving it are half, 1/3, and 1/4. What is the probability that this problem is solved? Now, when will the problem be solved? If it is solved by at least one of the students, isn't it? If at least one solved, the problem is solved. Yes? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
If the problem is solved by at least one student, problem solved. That means either one student solve, or 2 students solve, or all 3 solve. So we define the following events. Let us define the following events. Now this is the working rule for this problem. Okay. A is first student solves. the problem. B, second student solved the problem. And C, third student solved the problem. So what is A union B union C? This event is the problem is solved. Right? That is at least one student solved the problem. At least one student solved the problem. That is the event. So we need to calculate the probability of this event. So therefore, what is the required probability? First, let us write PA, PB, and PC. Here, what is PA? Probability that a first student solved the problem is half. Probability that the second student solved the problem here is 1/3. Probability that the third student solved the problem here is 1/4. Therefore, what is the required probability? Probability A union B union C, which is from the working rule. PA union B union C is 1 minus PA bar into PB bar into PC bar. And what is PA bar? It is 1 minus PA. PB bar is 1 minus PB. And PC bar is 1 minus PC. Put the values here. 1 minus half, 1 minus 1/3, 1 minus 1/4. We calculate this to be 3/4. Absolutely clear, this question? It's a very common type of question.
Yes.
Moving on to number 8. The odds against a husband who is 45 years old, living till he is 70, is 7:5. And the odds against of his wife, who is now 36, living till she is 61, is 5:3. Now, what do you mean by odds in favor and odds in against? You see, this is the keyword here. If you remember, last year I had solved a problem for odds in favor, right? And how do you calculate odds in favor? When you are calculating odds in favor, you take the first component, isn't it? 7 by 7 plus 5, which is, if the word would have been odds in favor, you'd have taken 7 by 7 plus 5 as the probability. But here, this is not the word. The odds here is against. So that means here you will take 5 by 5 plus 7. Okay. So let's see, read the question once again. The odds in against a husband who is 45 years old, living till he is 70, is 7:5, and the odds against his wife who is 36, living till she is 61. That means, what do you see? That 45 plus 25 will give you 70 here. Also 36 plus 25, that means 25 years, she will be 61. The question is, find the probability that the couple will be alive 25 years hence. What do you mean by couple will be alive? That means both are alive, isn't it? So let us define the event. Let us define the following events. What is the first event we define? Husband will be alive till he is 70 years old. Husband will be alive till he is 70 years old. That is 25 years. 25 years hence. What is his present age? His present age here is 45, right? So 45 plus 25 will give you 70. Next, wife will be alive till she is 61 years old. Again, 25 years hence. Right? We have defined the two events. Therefore, for the first one, what will this A intersection be? A intersection B will be husband and wife. In fact, the couple. The couple will be alive 25 years hence. Yes. So here what is PA? Now we'll see PA. The odds against. The word here is against. So that means we'll take this component is equal to 5 by 7 plus 5, which is equal to 5 by 12. What is PB? 3 by 5 plus 3, 3 by 8. So therefore, what is the required probability? PA intersection B is equal to, both these events are independent, PA into PB, which is equal to 5 by 12 into 3 by 8, which is equal to 5 by 32, because this will cancel here. 5 by 32. Fine. So this answers the first part of the question. The next part of the question is at least one of them will be alive. What do you mean by at least? Union, right? At least one of them will be alive. So we need to calculate the probability of A union B. The required probability here is probability A union B. From working rule, it is equal to 1 minus PA bar into PB bar. PA bar is 1 minus PA. PB bar is 1 minus PB. Put these values. 1 minus PA is 5 by 12 and PB is 3 by 8. We just showed above. I just showed you above. It's 3 by 8. Okay. Can calculate this to be 61 by 96. That's it. Any question till this part? No question? Fine. Continue with the next one then. Now we move on to the type 2. Type 2 is probability of occurrence of exactly one or more of the several independent events. This is the keyword. Exactly one or more of the several independent events. There the keyword was at least. Here the keyword is exactly one of the events. Okay, so among several independent events, say 4 events are given to you, which are all independent. If you want to find probability of occurrence of exactly one event, say A, or A and B, or A, B and C. Okay, so that is what will calculate here. So let's see what is the question here. Number 9. The probability that the probability of student A passing the examination is 3 by 7 and of student B passing the examination is 5 by 7. Assuming that A passes, B passes as independent. So they have given you the events. Okay. What are the event? A passes and B passes. These two are the events. And they have told you that these two are independent. Question is find the probability that only A passing the examination. Okay. So what is the event here? So let us define the following events. They have already given you the events. We are just labeling the events. A is student A passes. B we define as the event student B passes. Right? So what are the probabilities given here? Probability that a student A passes is 3/7. And probability that a student B passes the examination here is 5/7. Assuming that, and these two are independent. Okay, since A and B are independent, therefore PA intersection B must be equal to PA into PB, right? Also, A bar and B are independent, A and B bar are independent, A bar and B bar, all are independent. Okay, we answer the first question that the student A, only A passes the examination. So if I have defined the event A as student A passes, B as student B passes, only A passes means A passes and B does not pass. Am I right? Tell me. Student A passes and B does not pass. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
If only A passes, right? So therefore, we need to find out this is for question number 1. What is the required probability? Probability A intersection B bar is equal to PA into PB bar, because A and B bar are also independent, is equal to PA into 1 minus PB. And we know the values of PA and PB, so just put it. PA is 3/7 and PB is 5/7. You calculate this to be 6/49. Fine. Second part of the question. Only one of them passes the examination. Now see, look at the events. A and B. Student A passes and B passes. Only one of them passes the examination means what? A passes, B does not pass, or B passes and A does not pass, isn't it? Yes. Only one of them passes means what? A passes and B does not pass, or B passes, A does not pass, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So if we define the event E as, if we define E as only one of them passes, then how can this event occur? E can occur in two mutually exclusive ways. This is the main keyword here. Now, Devanjan, if you remember, mutually exclusive, for mutually exclusive event, we add up the probabilities, right? Two events are mutually exclusive. PA union B is equal to PA plus PB. Recall from your class 11. E can occur in two mutually exclusive ways. What are those ways? A passes and B does not pass. That is, A intersection B bar occurs, or A does not pass and B passes. So what is the event? Corresponding event? A bar intersection B. Right? So therefore, this event E, because of this or means a union, this event E is a union of two events, A intersection B bar, union A bar intersection B, right? And because these two events are mutually exclusive, if I take probability You can add up the probabilities. Plus A bar intersection B. Are you with me? A and B bar are independent, so we can treat PA intersection B as PA into PB bar. And PA bar intersection B is PA bar into PB, which is PA, and PB bar is 1 minus PB plus PA bar is 1 minus PA. Put the values. See what are the values. So PA is 3 by 7. PB is 5 by 7. Plus 1, again PA is 3 by 7. And PB is 5 by 7. Multiply all this to get 26 by 49, and that should be your answer. Fine. So I'll stop here.